In his 89 years on Earth, Carroll Shelby lived more lives than Super Mario. He was born the son of a postal worker in rural Texas. Then he flew bombers for the Air Force in World War II. He worked on an oil well. He farmed chickens. He raced sports cars and won Le Mans, with Sports Illustrated naming him Driver of the Year 2 years running. All of this was before Carroll Shelby lived a life that made him a legend among automotive enthusiasts. That would be the life of a high-end race car guru known for his incredible run of cars he helped develop in the 1960s, most of which were built with big old Ford V8s, cars like the Cobra, the GT350 and GT500, the Shelby Daytona Coupe, the Ford GT40, among many others, firmly established American muscle as a worthy competitor to European sports cars of the time. If Shelby was known for one thing, it was constantly pushing the envelope. In his words,
"What's my favorite car?" And I've always said, the next one.
in the automotive world and beyond, there was always a next one for Shelby. In January of 1970, at the height of his success with Ford, Shelby shockingly walked away from the automotive empire he had built. True to his racing roots, he never stopped moving or looking for the next thing. From chili con carne to safaris, from his 6 or possibly 7 wives to his eventual return to designing cars, today on Past Gas, we're talking about the many lives of Carroll Shelby.
Past Gas Podcast. It's about cars, it's not about Fords.
Hello, everyone. This is Nolan from Past Gas by Donut Media, your new favorite automotive history show. This week, we're talking about the unknown cars and times of Carroll Shelby. Yes, one of the most legendary automotive figures in history. This was a fun episode. We actually did it live. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. How you guys doing today?
Me? I threw up.
Yeah.
I threw up this morning.
Why is that?
I don't
You
know.
want to speculate?
My tummy hurt and then I puked. I don't know.
I'm sorry,
sometimes when I get nervous, I throw up. Like when I used to do comedy a lot, I used to throw up before like a lot of shows. So maybe it's because we were going live and I was nervous about it.
I feel like you also messed your stomach up by throwing up in shows as well, doing the milk chug.
Yeah.
Yeah, you used to throw up on purpose.
Yeah. One of the first things I did when I started doing comedy in LA was I drank a gallon of milk and then threw up on stage for this show called Dirtiest Sketch Show. But it got some attention.
Joe, how you doing?
I guess you could say I'm fired up. I'm super excited. I just read the script this morning and I'm really pumped to talk about Carroll Shelby.
My favorite dude.
He's James' favorite dude. He did a lot of weird things that we don't really even know about unless you're like a huge Shelby head. So
yeah, we know all about the Fords, we know about the Cobra, we know about the GT40, the Mustangs, but there's a lot of Dodges in there. There's some trucks, a lot of like kind of funny stuff that he did in the 80s that is very quirky and very cool, which is my style. I like quirky.
Just a quick, this isn't even really a spoiler, but one of the most surprising things I found out about him is that he owned a 220,000 acre ranch in Texas. I thought it was a typo at first, but that's a huge chunk of land.
What is it? Terlingua.
Yeah.
Over there in Texas, as we'll discover. So I guess without further ado, we should just get into it then, huh?
Without further ado, Carroll Shelby learned to drive as a teenager in the 30s in a Willys, a now defunct brand that at one point was the second largest car manufacturer after Ford. Following that, Shelby flew planes during World War II, serving as a test pilot, and eventually a flight instructor. Shelby's racing days started at drag meets around Texas in the 50s. He started winning races and by 1954 was traveling to Europe, where he raced an Aston Martin DBR3 at Entrepreneurship. Throughout the 50s, Shelby continued to race Jaguars, Ferraris, and Maseratis, as well as Aston Martins. The highlight of Shelby's career as a race driver was a win at the 1959 24 Hours of Le Mans, beating out the rest in his Aston Martin DBR. The following year, he retired from racing altogether. Now, after racing, Shelby's dream was to take what he had observed in his travels around Europe and bring it back to America. Basically, he saw all these European car companies were making custom cars in limited edition runs and wondered why American car companies weren't doing the same. American engines of the time were simpler. They were more reliable, and Shelby was confident that an American-designed high-end race car could dominate in competition. Shelby's first opportunity came from AC Cars, a British-based automaker. Their engine supplier, Bristol, had recently ceased production, and so AC was in need of an engine for their racing model, the AC Ace. Shelby dropped in a Ford V8, and the resulting car was dubbed the AC Cobra in Europe and the Shelby Cobra in the States. The Mark I Cobra had a 260 cubic inch V8 capable of 335 horse-pers, all in a small rear-wheel drive roadster package that weighed less than 2,200 pounds. Nolan can bench press more than that.
Not anymore.
I don't know if he still can.
I
but
used to.
When he was at competition, he could deadlift 2,200 pounds without breaking a sweat.
Yeah, that's like nothing, dude. 222? Come on. I deadlifted 420 when I was 21 years old.
That's the nicest number.
That is the sickest number, dude. This car was so fast that it's often credited as being the car that led to Britain instituting a speed limit on their highways. That is a flex. What followed was an arms race with Enzo Ferrari as the two constructors battled to dominate Grand Tour, also known as GT racing. The Shelby Daytona Coupe was Shelby's masterstroke, winning the FI International GT Championship in 1965. All of this success led Shelby to become more directly involved in Ford's racing division. Shelby designed the Mark II, which took all 3 podium spots in the 1966 Le Mans. And if you guys have not seen the movie Ford vs. Ferrari, this is the versus that movie was all about. We've also done a bunch of episodes of Up to Speed on it. We did a 4-part podcast on 4-part podcast series on Ford versus Ferrari. One of the coolest stories in automotive history. It's
really great.
Yeah, when he comes down the Mulsanne straight, man, just tears. Cry every time.
I really want to do another series, maybe like a 1-parter or 2-parter on the Daytona Coupe. That's one of my favorite stories in racing because Carroll didn't really believe in that car. His designer Pete Brock was the one that really pushed for it, and it has a pretty radical design. And Carroll Shelby was like, "All right, if it doesn't work, you're fired," basically. And it worked, and it killed. And
there's nothing like an ultimatum to really light a fire under your butt.
So, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie, Ford won at Le Mans. However, despite its Ford engine, the Mark II that Shelby had used to defeat Ferrari was still built on a British chassis. In 1965, Shelby's dream of an all-American GT car came true with the development of the Shelby Mustang GT350. Instead of using a European assembled chassis, the GT350 was assembled in Los Angeles, California, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Venice Beach, dude.
The whole city is just Venice Beach to anyone not from LA.
Well, that's where his shop was. It's so cool to think that his shop was in Venice. It's not like out in the desert or something. It's like,
well, Venice used to be just like oil fields and like kind of like slums and stuff.
Yeah. But like he could like walk out of the shop and see the ocean. I always thought that was pretty cool.
The ocean?
Yeah, the ocean. By then, Shelby and his Cobra branded cars was more than a constructor. He was an internationally recognized brand. And as a Cobra myself, I gotta respect that.
Yeah, did you have a thought after that?
No, I just wanted to get my nickname out there. Kentucky Cobra. Merch coming soon. That's the kind of leaked info that you get on the live pod.
Yeah, sign up for our newsletter. We're dropping a little flute, like a snake charming flute that says donut on the side.
Kentucky Cobra baskets for your snake. Shelby seems to have led one of those charmed lives where incredible success followed incredible success. Whenever Shelby failed, and he did fail, whether it was crashing cars during his racing career or losing millions of dollars in bad business ventures, he would soon bounce back with a vengeance. By the end of the 60s, Shelby had risen from his humble Dust Bowl origins, the son of a postman, to become one of the automotive world's earliest and greatest entrepreneurs. This guy couldn't stop founding companies, even after his supposed retirements. Wherever he went, he was innovating and inventing. And whatever he innovated or invented, he found a way to sell.
I've never been a great salesman. Like, I don't think I could ever do retail because I'm just like, yeah, it's not actually that great of a product.
Yeah, and that's why we don't have you do ad reads, Joe.
I worked in a Vaughn's bakery one summer, and like most of my job was just like putting bagels into packages, and that was kind of it. But there'd be some nights where I was all in charge of the entire department, and one night it was like some kid's birthday, and a mom like wanted a cake but wanted me to like decorate it, like write happy birthday, like Jaden or whatever. And
was Jaden Smith?
yeah, it was
it was Jada Pinkett.
Yeah, Jada
Smith?
Pinkett Smith wanted me to
a
decorate
cake. She got his birthday cake at a Ralph's in a Tascadero.
It was a
that
Vaughn's,
is surprising.
James. It was a Vaughn's.
Sorry. It's a fancy Ralph's.
But I do not. I wasn't versed in the art of cake decorating. It looked like a toddler did it, and I never did it again.
Yeah,
So,
you made a meme cake.
I did. Yeah, I was lucky that it was 2012. Twitter like memes hadn't really taken over too much yet, so I was saved.
It's weird looking at memes from 2012, and they're just like so simple and just like the humor is very basic.
Night. Like, remember like demotivational posters?
Yes. Yeah, just like all you had to do is take a stock image and like put it a black background.
Yeah. And it's just like I don't know, usually offensive.
Yeah. Cheeseburgers, because you can't you will whatever. I'm so I can't think of memes right now. I'm sorry.
You just got the question, are we still working on the pop-up headlights song? The answer is yes. We got a really sick beat that Joe made, actually. So an extended version's coming soon. We're trying to get some cool features. I'd really love to get Noel Miller on that. My car with pop-up headlights doesn't run currently, so got to get it running so we can make a video about it.
We just have to push it downhill.
Even Shelby's story was a product. In 1967, Shelby published the Carroll Shelby story, recounting his racing days. One review said that the book discusses motors far more intimately than the average reader would care about.
Well, at least it's motors being described intimately and not other things like Smokey Eunuch.
Like Smokey Eunuch, yeah. If you want to get that joke, listen to our podcast about Smokey Eunuch. The other coolest dude who's ever lived.
Yeah, he's like the guy, dude.
Yeah. Although...
Are you chewing gum? Are you chewing gum during our podcast?
Carroll Shelby chews gum.
This is an audio medium.
I chew gum every podcast.
I know, and I get mad every time. I'm starting to think it's a bit or something. Please, man, I want to hear you
doesn't
chewing
like
during
bits.
the show. No, like when you're listening to a podcast, you don't want to hear.
If you're listening about Carroll Shelby, though, like Carroll Shelby, at least Matt Damon's Carroll
This is
Shelby
not method podcasting, Joe. This is not method
Eric,
podcasting.
Joe, you know what, Nolan? Matt Damon's Carroll Shelby, that was the only decision he made as an actor, was this guy's just going to chomp gum the whole time.
That's a fair point.
So I'm getting into character. It is a method podcast for me. Don't sweat the technique. Also,
right.
I want to thank Eric for his donation. That's very generous, Eric. You're the freaking man.
You're the man, Eric. You're the man now, Eric.
If you're the man now, Eric. And if you want us to fire Nolan, Eric, we will.
Yeah, donate me $100,000.
Yeah, for $100,000, Nolan will quit.
Don't do that. Someone's gonna take it seriously.
Another example of Shelby's entrepreneurial myth-making ability was in the unlikely realm of chili, as in beans and ground beef made in a slow cooker. My mom's chili is better than your mom's chili. Fight me. Shelby, who grew up in the Depression-era Texas and wore a Stetson hat at every opportunity, had a natural liking for the spicy stew with Texan origins. And in 1967, he founded the first ever Terlingua International Championship Chili Cook-Off, held in the Texas ghost town of Terlingua.
Is it considered a stew?
Chili?
Yeah.
What else would it be?
A soup?
Chili is not a soup.
Chili's too thick for a soup. I still remember this. The worst lunch I ever got was when we there's like this little cafe by our old office, and I was like, I really want a soup and salad combo, and I didn't see it on the menu, so I was like kind of like weirdly nervous to ask, and I was like, "Do you guys got like a half sandwich and soup?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I like froze, and I was like, "Okay, I'll have chili and tuna salad." And it was just like not good. Not a good combo. It's like two thick things.
A surf and turf, but not
nice
not the type of
chili.
surf.
And and then a refreshing tuna salad.
Yeah. Just like creamy and spicy. And you can't dip. Like the reason I wanted it was a little dip-ins, and neither of those are dipping. They're like the only one that doesn't dip.
That's so funny.
It's the only soup you don't dip stuff in. It's the only sandwich you don't dip stuff in. Shelby owned a 220,000 acre ranch nearby, and some say the cook-off was a ploy to raise the profile of the area, thus benefiting the value of his real estate holdings. Yeah, I wanted to do that, like just go buy a house somewhere and then start a film festival. Like in Joshua Tree.
What would it be called though? The film festival.
The Stockton Film Festival.
Yeah.
Coming soon.
The Stockton International Film Festival.
Oh no! It actually brought money to Stockton instead of 29 Palms.
The first Terlingua Cook-Off's stated purpose was to settle a rivalry between two journalists. It pitted Wick Fowler, a Texas local who had been perfecting his chili recipe for decades, against H. Allen Smith, a northerner who the Texans dismissively nicknamed Soupy.
Hell yeah. Soup.
Both Fowler and Smith were super cocky when it came to chili. Smith had started beef with the 60s version of clickbait newspaper articles. It was an article entitled, "Nobody knows more about chili than I do." In the end, one judge voted for Fowler, one for Smith, and the third tie-breaking judge called it a split decision. Unlike racing, apparently chili cook-offs don't have a photo finish.
Nobody
Side
knows
note-
more about chili than I do.
Oh my God! It's Jack Nicholson.
I'm going to stir the pot a little bit, the chili pot. Nobody knows more about chili than I do.
Careful, H. You might start a chili cook-off.
That's precisely my intent, my love. Precisely my intent.
This is the stuff that like normally Bridget would cut out of the live or the podcast, but now we have no choice but to leave it in.
Yeah. We got to do that bit. It's great.
Side note on H. Allen Smith, he also claimed to have taken the first legal drink in the United States post-prohibition. This guy's a funny braggart. Another guy who made the same claim was named Joe Weber.
Hell
of
yeah.
the popular vaudeville duo Weber and Fields.
But like, how could you possibly know that was the first one? Like so confidently, you know?
And dude, like, like, was he at the signing of the freaking document? Like, was he in Congress? And he's like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hold off.
He had it. It's
And
not
also,
actually
like-
illegal. If I have it in my hand, I'm not drinking it. Okay, now it's legal. Great.
But people were drinking throughout prohibition. Like, it's not a
Yeah.
huge claim to fame.
someone was probably drinking during the passing of the amendment. And it, like, that sip just carried over into being legal.
The coolest anecdote I have about prohibition is that Yingling
Yingling.
brewery had like a truckload of beer delivered to the Senate the day that it passed. So that means that they were brewing it 2 weeks before they knew it was gonna like it was being brewed while it was still illegal.
Great summer
No, we just made it
shandy.
we made it this morning.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we just made it this
We
morning.
expedited it. Yeah.
Shelby being Shelby didn't stop there. The Terlingua cook-off has since grown to something that Texas Monthly refers to as the Super Bowl of chili cook-offs. Very original analogy. We should, you know what? More people should.
The
compare
big game on
events.
Sunday of chili.
Yeah, we
cook-offs.
can't say Super Bowl. We're gonna get sued. We have to say
Yeah.
the big game of chili cook-offs.
It's still going strong with over 10,000 participants last year. From our research, it looks like an excuse for a bunch of Texans to go to the desert and drink, party, eat chili, and probably at some point throw up that
Nothing
chili.
wrong with that.
But it's the desert, and it's cool to puke in the desert. We should once this whole hell year is over, we should make a pilgrimage down to the Terlingua chili cook-off.
I would love to go to Terlingua.
It would be cool. We get our hands on some Shelbys and drive on down
Oh,
there.
that'd be so fun. The town itself looks really cool. There's like an old theater that turned into a brunch spot, and there's like graves and stuff.
There's graves?
Yeah, it's a ghost town.
That's what I want when I'm eating my my eggs Benedict. My eggs Benny is to look at some graves.
Yeah.
Give me that grave-y.
Of course, creating an incredibly popular event wasn't enough for Carroll Shelby. He designed his own chili seasoning and handed it out to friends in brown paper bags. By the 6th annual cook-off, Carroll Shelby's original Texas brand chili kit was available in store shelves. According to the official company website, carrollshelbyschili.com, Shelby approached his cars the way he approached his chili, by starting with a base, tweaking it to his taste, and taking off in whichever direction suited him best.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
That's the way to live.
Now, if you think a chili kit is a weird product for a race car driver and constructor to put his name on, buckle up your baby belts because it's going to get weirder. In 1967, Shelby also promoted Carroll Shelby's Pit Stop, a real man's deodorant.
Not that fake man deodorant.
Yeah, no, I know fake man deodorant. This is a deodorant for real man.
Are
It
you a
smells
real
like
man?
tobacco and wood and moss.
Yeah, it smells like tobacco. Smells like a cowboy spit in your armpit.
Whiskey.
The ad, which appeared in magazines as a mail order item costing $2, suggested that after a 24-hour race like Le Mans, you probably need a pit stop. No feminine frills, but a pleasing masculine fragrance with effective deodorant control. Recommended for everyday use by non-race car drivers too. Oh, good. Then I can buy
Yeah.
it.
You don't want to smell good. You don't want to smell good. You want to smell like a man.
Yeah. I think it's so funny that they still sell deodorant like
It's
this
the
today.
same thing. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
this like this is still Axe. This is still Old Spice. This is still like Dr. Squatch and stuff. Like you gotta be clean, but you don't want to be clean like a girl.
You don't want to be too clean. You don't want to be jasmine clean. You don't want to be lavender clean.
You don't want to smell like no freaking flowers. You want to smell like coffee or beer.
Unless it's that flower that looks like a corpse and it smells like a corpse. Because that's a real man flower.
The corpse blossom.
This is the Cannibal Corpse official soap. Yeah. Hey, let's are we at a spot where we can read some chat for a sec? Do you think?
Yeah, let's take a second to hang out with our fans.
All right, so I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm getting Ian asks 400Z video when. We're gonna wait. Wheelhouse is gonna continue the Nissan saga. I just want to wait until we have a little bit more details about the 400Z, including price and all that. I want to do something pretty ridiculous for that one. So hang in there. We'll definitely do a video on the 400Z.
Probably a million videos on it, to be honest.
Maybe High-Low Season 7 is 400 Z's.
Here's a statement from Grape. My cousin says not to get a Civic for a first car because it gets stolen a lot. I'm going to have to go ahead and... I think they're a great first car, but I will agree that they do get stolen a lot. I've had 3 friends that have had their Civic stolen. One of them was actually a Civic that we shot with. It got stolen later that day. Yeah. And
Oh
then
my
it was
God.
recovered. But that was pretty crazy.
A lot of Civics share the same key, like especially like the 90s ones. Like I had like a couple friends in high school that you could open and start. They could open and start each other's cars with their key.
Oh God.
That's insane.
I don't think that's a reason to not get one. You just get like a club or something.
Yeah, if you do, you just get like a kill switch or I don't know. They do get stolen, but they are a good first car. So
Thank you for the donation, Mr. Shakar. That's 100 something. Y'all the best. Love from India. Thank you. I'd love to go to India eventually.
is that rupees?
Someone said that their Civic got stolen last night, so that's pretty funny. I mean, I hope you got it back, but that's pertinent to the conversation.
Yeah, quit watching and go find your car.
Yeah, wait a minute. What are you doing? How come you guys don't do more truck or RV van builds?
Stay tuned.
That's
all
all
I
we'll
gotta say.
say.
Stay tuned. Got some things up our sleeves.
Davidas says, get a VW Golf. James, do you have anything to say to that?
Yeah, they're great. I love Golfs. I've had a million of them. I currently own one. It's a great little car.
What's the status of your Golf right now?
Should start this next couple weeks. Hopefully I'll get it back sometime in October. It's in North Carolina at Eurowise Performance, getting a 5-cylinder swap. They're using it to develop their like engine mount wiring harness kit. So I miss it. It's been a while.
So you're getting the beta? You're getting the beta version?
Yeah, I'm getting the first version. So
Oh yeah. Let's give a shout out to Mason Ackley real quick. He says you guys are amazing. Keep this community alive.
thank you,
Thanks,
Mason.
Thanks, Mason. He's also got a Mark IV VR6 GTI, and that's pretty sick. So
Great motor, great sounding car.
good on you.
Happy birthday to Bridger. Happy birthday. Thank you for watching.
Now, clearly, if Shelby was this busy hosting chili cook-offs, writing books, and hawking manly pit stop spray, oh, I get it, pit stop, like armpit.
Yeah, it seems like some of those like they came up with a name before the product.
Yeah. Obviously, his mind was not fully on his racing company. The proof showed on the track. Although the GT40 continued to compete in GT racing in 1968 and 69, Porsche-made cars had begun to dominate. Similarly, Shelby Mustangs performed decently in 68 and 69, Trans Am series, but the brand new Chevrolet Camaro, built as Chevy's response to the Mustang, was now the car to beat. Having conquered the world of sports car racing, Shelby was ready for bigger and better things. By 1969, Carroll was only 46, but after a decade of constant work, he was burned out and announced he would retire from the car world to explore what else life had to offer. Although Shelby was clearly a man of great ambition, he seemed less interested in ruling over an automotive empire than he was in finding other venues for his constant stream of business ideas and innovations. He was also more rich, famous, and successful than he had ever hoped. Maybe he just wanted to go out on top. A bizarre pop culture factoid from the time illustrates just how famous a name Shelby was in the late 60s. In 1968, Bill Cosby put out a comedy album entitled 200 Miles Per Hour. The title bit was about Cosby bumping into Shelby in a department store and Shelby convincing him to buy a 1965 Shelby Cobra Super Snake CSX 3303 with twin superchargers, one of only 2 in existence. Cosby test drives it, but is so scared by the power of the car that he returns the keys to Shelby. The punchline of the 23-minute story is Cosby suggesting that Shelby give the apparently deadly fast car to George Wallace, a famously racist politician at the time.
Wait, that just shows like how far comedy has gone from like a 23-minute joke. People are like, oh yeah, no one has attention spans nowadays, but now it's like,
I think people like John Mulaney and stuff tell really long stories.
That's true. That's true.
Like there's like 2 kinds of comedian, I feel like right now. It's like there's the storyteller and then there's like the joke guy.
Yeah, that Bert dude.
Bert Kreischer? Come on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. He does that machine story that's really good.
Yeah. This story gets even weirder, though. What's not mentioned on the album is that Shelby did, in fact, sell the car to another customer, a car enthusiast named Tony Maxey. Maxey promptly drove the CSX off a cliff and into the Pacific Ocean and died.
Oof.
So Cosby was right. The car did kill its next owner. Truly one of the weirdest stories ever.
Let's get an F in chat.
Yeah, let's get an F in chat for Tony Maxey. Rest in peace, King. I hope you're up there with Lil Peep and Pope John Paul II. Just
And freaking Chadwick Boseman, RGB,
Anton
Carroll
Yelchin.
Shelby. Ironically, for a guy who was retired from cars, he also found time in 1971 to found the Shelby Wheel Company based in Gardena, California, which is still active today. In fact, you can even buy custom Carroll Shelby wheels for your Jeep. That's what you're into. It's a Jeep thing. I wouldn't understand. Carroll also used his retirements to branch out into ventures beyond those carrying his name. In the 70s, his son-in-law, Kerry Levine, came to him asking for a $20,000 loan in order to open a restaurant. Levine had opened a few restaurants in the past, but none of them had really taken off.
Ooh.
Feels like a setup for a business flop or a sitcom, or for Shelby to simply say no. But surprisingly, he agreed. The name of the restaurant was, does anybody want to take a guess?
I mean,
Chili's! Freaking Chili's. Chili's, dude. That Chili's.
It is crazy.
They got Chili's Express, too, in the airport. It's a freaking multi-billion-dollar business.
Big thanks to Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of Past Gas. Thank you, Mint Mobile. Breaking up with your old wireless provider just got a whole lot easier thanks to Mint Mobile. They were the first company to sell premium wireless service online only. That's the claim to fame. And now Mint Mobile is introducing their unlimited data plan for just $30 a month. Let that sink in. Everything unlimited for just $30 a month. What do you spend $30 on every month? I spend almost $50 on gas a week. How much does your soon-to-be ex-wireless provider charge you per month? Bet it's a lot more than that. Well, cut ties with them already. Go with Mint Mobile. By going online only, which means they don't have stores, they don't have all this overhead. That's how they can offer this insane plan. I'm on my phone a lot. I use a lot of data. Having unlimited data is really cool. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the largest 5G network in the nation. You can use your same phone. You can use your same number. All you have to do is just switch to Mint Mobile. And if you're not 100% satisfied with them, you can get a 7-day money-back guarantee. So break up with your big wireless plan and go to Mint Mobile. Their premium unlimited data plan is freaking sick, if I do say so myself. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $30 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, just go to mintmobile.com/gas so they know we sent you. That's mintmobile.com/GAS. Cut your unlimited wireless bill to just $30 a month at mintmobile.com/gas.
I just want to say real quick, those Shelby wheels from the Shelby Wheel Company, they've got some pretty cool designs on here. Some of them are not to my liking, but
Not a
some
sponsor.
of them are pretty sick. I will say that.
The only credit that Shelby would take for Chili's is that when he agreed to front Levine the loan, he insisted that the restaurant's food be kept simple, limiting the fare to hamburgers, fries, and frosted mugs. No mention of the quesadilla explosion salad, so that must have come later. Also, baby back ribs.
Yeah, I'm partial to the margarita chicken myself.
Yeah, I want to get a strawberry marg.
Oh, a Presidente marg, baby.
We actually went to Chili's for when we hit 2 million subs.
Yeah. Whoa, that seems so long ago.
Yeah, and we went early and it just wrecked all of us.
It was pretty heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
and where it took an hour and a half to drive there.
Yeah.
It was definitely worth it, but
yeah. Everyone was like, yeah, man, I went to bed at 5:30 last night.
Yeah. I ate a whole thing of queso just by myself. And then there's another queso, and I dug into that too.
Damn, thank you to Star for donating $100.
Damn.
Thank you, Star, and Donut Media and Chill. Haha, I like it.
According to Shelby's website, he started making yearly voyages to Africa in the 1970s, traveling the continent for months at a time. Of course, wherever Shelby went, so too did his business ventures. In Africa, Shelby speculated on land, buying acreage in and oftentimes losing it through confiscation in the political turmoil of the time. He also invested deeply into the safari business, which ended up losing him millions. This is just like the whitest way to invest in Africa.
Going to safari.
I'm just
People
going to buy
love
up all the land.
I think I'm going to invest in this emerald mine.
Yeah. While in Africa, Shelby also had some tendencies that were not so kosher. Much of his time in Africa was spent big game hunting for elephants and other wild animals. Yeah, it's not that cool.
I think hunting is a cool thing to do. Not when it's endangered big game. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, hunting deer and fowl.
Yeah,
I'm
if you're hunting for food, I think that's totally cool. Got a lot of friends growing up that did that.
Where in Atascadero, where'd they go? I want to get into hunting. Seems like something me and Jeremiah would do together.
Yeah, my boy Jesse would it seemed like twice a year he and his dad would go out somewhere. I don't know if it was in SLO County or not, but he went a lot of deer hunting, a lot of waiting out there in the bush.
Yeah.
Just you and your gun, and then you're just waiting.
Speaking of bush, Shelby was also something of a womanizer. In a 2001 interview with the Dallas Morning News, Shelby disclosed that he had been married, quote, 5, possibly 6 times, maybe more, depending on whether you believe that the necessary paperwork and ceremonies have to accompany the I do's.
What is Carroll?
Sure, I told her we was married. I didn't,
Sure, I guess we got everything signed and there was a priest there and stuff, but are we really married?
Is we, is ain't we, In that same interview, Shelby shared that he'd lost his pilot's license because of health issues, and it's heavily implied that his current wife was taking flying lessons so that a licensed pilot could be in the plane as Shelby took the controls. Listen, baby, here's what I'm going to need you to do. I'm going to need you to log about 150 hours in the simulator. You get up there with an instructor. So then, after you get licensed, I'm not going to let you fly. I'll take over once we get up there. But I just need you,
baby. You love me, right? You love me with all your heart. Well, do this for me, please. Just log 150 hours in the Cessna.
Dude, what a sabbatical! You're like one of the dudes in the car world, and then you're just like, you know what? Let's just have a gap here.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Africa. I'm going to get married a whole bunch of times. I'm going to fly planes. I'm going to start doing, I don't know, chili. I'm going to start a restaurant called Chili's. We got the baby back ribs.
Hell, I might buy some zebras and lose $1 million.
I don't give a fudge.
Okay. All right. So Shelby couldn't stay away from the automotive world for long, though. August of 1976, the first gathering of the Shelby Automotive Club of America was held, attracting 600 fans. Carroll reunited with many of his former drivers, and the club remains active with a yearly convention to this day. However, for the entirety of the 1970s, Shelby didn't fully return to the world of automotive construction and racing in which he had made his name. When he did, it was to an unlikely company. Chrysler's anemic lineup of cars, which included the Omni, Shadow, and even the Charger, were struggling and needed a boost. Lee Iacocca, thank you, who had made his name as a rising executive at the Ford Motor Company in the 60s.
The father of the Mustang, okay? Made his name is a little bit of an understatement, okay? The guy, he did the Mustang.
Yeah, he's played by John, what's his name? John, the Punisher. No,
Goodman.
No, he's played by the Punisher in the Ferrari.
Chrysler.
Yeah,
John Jim
forget.
from The Office.
Anyway,
Lee Iacocca.
he would go on to become Ford's president in the 70s and had been unexpectedly fired by Henry Ford II, a.k.a. Ford Hank the Deuce.
Hank the Deuce.
Iacocca switched over to lead Chrysler in 1978. That's a good get from those guys, with a mandate to reinvigorate Chrysler's struggling brands. He had also worked closely with Shelby at Ford, and the two men remained friends. So naturally, Iacocca saw Shelby as the perfect candidate to put some pep into Dodge's limp step in the early 80s.
Hey, Lee, you want to come over and cook some chili this weekend?
Yeah, sure, Kel. Can you reinvigorate my brand?
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
All right.
Anyways, the 1983 Dodge Shelby Charger, it was a hot version of the regular L-body 83 Charger with squared off recessed headlights. Joey, can we get that picture back up? And a beefy air dam. The horsepower was pumped up to a screaming 107 horsepower. The emphasis was on the exterior design, namely a signature blue and white striped paint job and a racing style body kit that was somewhat unorthodoxly shipped separately to the dealership to be assembled upon delivery. In 1985, a turbocharged 2.2-liter engine was introduced. And there's a siren going by my house. I'll pause for a sec.
Dude, Nolan's got 2 stars right now.
Yeah, so the turbocharged 2.2-liter engine was introduced. And oddly, the car's name was changed from the Dodge Shelby Charger to the Dodge Charger Shelby.
Now, Lee, I know it's a little nitpicky, but I've been thinking all last year. It's just bothered me a little bit.
What is it this time, Carroll?
Can we just switch Shelby and Charger? How hard is that? Is that hard to do? I feel like that's me giving notes on merch. Like, can we? And then Jesse's like, "You have no idea how hard that is. You're so annoying. You should have done this 2 weeks ago." I'm like, man.
To give you an idea of the sad non-collectability of the Dodge Shelbys compared to anything Shelby so much, they'd swapped a fuse out in the early 60s Ford era. Shelby's personal 1983 Dodge Shelby Charger, advertised in, quote, time capsule condition with a mere 3,000 miles on the odometer, sold at auction last year for, anyone want to take a guess? Shelby Charger, time capsule condition.
20 grand.
$26,880. Meaning a mint version of this car is closer in dollar value to a Hot Wheels Shelby Cobra than to an actual 60s Shelby Cobra. 1987 marked the last year of production for the Dodge Charger Shelby.
I don't mind these. I think they're kind of cool.
There's a guy I saw at a car meet who had swapped a 392 Hemi from the current Charger into one of those. It was really well done. It looked like factory. It was very cool. I can't remember his name.
That sounds super sick.
That's fun. I think they would be like if, like I'm never going to be as wealthy as Jay Leno, but like when I'm like 50, like my version of Jay Leno's garage is I have all the non-Ford Shelbys. Like I got like an Omni, I got a Charger, just like combined 300-400 horsepower.
That would be pretty. That's
but just like clean.
A collection of over $47,000.
Carroll's next collaboration with Chrysler hit the market in 1984. It was originally set to be called the Dodge Omni Coyote, but that was rejected. Shelby suggested calling it the Dodge Omni GLH, which of course stands for Goes Like Hell. The GLH had the same engine as the Shelby Charger, but was more lightweight. In 1985, a turbo option was released with a 146 horsepower engine that, combined with the car weighing a mere 2,200 pounds, made the GLH respectively quick.
I want to drive one of these.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to drive one. I want to keep my expectations realistic.
Yeah, but those 80s turbo cars are really fun to drive because there's so much lag and then the boost comes on just so heavy.
That's fair. By 1986, the GLH was discontinued, and Shelby opted to buy the final 500 GLH turbos directly from Dodge. All 500 of the cars were black, and Shelby, as always looking to cash in on his awesome name, modified them and sold them as the Shelby GLH S, aka the Shelby Goes Like Hell some more.
Yeah.
The GLHS was essentially a modified version of the Dodge Omni, featured a 2.2-liter Turbo 1 engine that was modified with Turbo 2 parts, which got it up to 175 horsepower and a 0 to 60 time of 6.5 seconds, which is about as fast as my Mustang. So that's pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
especially in a car like that, that probably feels like light speed.
That's as fast as a Sierra Cosworth.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, this thing is,
Especially in the 80s, that's freaking fast.
yeah, this thing kicks
Was
butt.
the Sierra 4-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Most interesting modification made to the GLHS Charger was the sticker added to the speedometer that extended the top speed from 85 miles an hour to 135 miles an hour, which fully wrapped around the speedometer so that the 365 mile an hour mark was in the same location as the 5 mile an hour mark. Dude, if Doug DeMuro saw that, he would shit his pants.
That is a quirk.
This is a Shelby Charger GLHS.
This is the Shelby Charger GLHS.
What is that?
Nolan, do your Doug DeMuro impression.
This? That's all I got. He did a video on the Centenario yesterday or a couple days ago.
Okay, let's just promote other YouTube channels.
Hey man, community, dude.
Yeah.
People love community. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Dodge Shelby. Okay.
I'm really into the Hoonigan donk build right now. I love that. Every time the video comes out, I'm into it.
The Dodge Shelby collaborations only got weirder from that point on, believe it or not. 1989 saw the release of the Dodge Shelby Dakota, a modified
this
version
thing's so cool.
of the Dakota Sport model. Yeah, Joey's queuing it up. Nice.
I love that truck.
It's so
The Shelby, yeah, it's really sick. The Shelby Dakota featured the classic Shelby paint job and decals with a racing stripe down the hood and sides of the car. The stock 3.9 liter V6 was replaced with a 5.2 liter V8, sizable engine. It was Shelby's first rear-wheel drive car since the 60s, and Dodge claimed it to be the highest performing pickup truck available.
This was like the start of the 90s muscle trucks.
Yeah, we
That's
did
right.
an episode
really-
of Wheelhouse that on these cars.
That's right. I had to shoot it twice because the first time I shot it, the autofocus wasn't working, and then had to do it again, and I was losing my mind at that point.
Classic Vaseline lens Nolan.
Yeah, I finally shot in a studio last batch, and it was the first D-list in focus.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Anyway, yeah, Dodge claimed the Shelby Dakota to be the highest performing pickup truck available. The Shelby Dakota came equipped with twin triangular aerodynamic wings extending from the back of the cab to the top edges of the bed. This is impossible to verify, but according to Reddit user Rootworm, with proper aero, this truck could reach speeds as high as 135 miles per hour, but the wings were known to fly off right at 90 miles per hour, usually in violent fashion. I don't think Carroll Shelby did a lot of wind tunnel testing for this truck. I think that's safe to say.
This
is like
it.
the same type of like little triangles that the Chevy Avalanche has
Yeah.
on the back of their truck.
The final collaboration with Dodge, thanks guys again, was the CSX. These sports compacts were based on the Dodge Shadow and produced from 1987 to 89. CSX stood for Carroll Shelby Experimental.
Because it's not experimental or extreme if you use an E. Them's the rules.
Oh, these things are pretty sick.
I love these.
The original CSX featured the Turbo 2 2.2 L 4-banger with 175 horsepower. The most impressive CSX was 1989's CSX VNT. The VNT stood for Variable Nozzle Turbo. This was the first use of a variable turbine in a production car. So that means it could change its profile to increase or decrease boost depending on the engine's needs. It's pretty complicated. The VNT featured an intercooled Turbo 4 with computer-controlled turbo vanes. Okay, so the VNT also shipped with a ground effects package and modified suspension. Ground effects, of course, being a sucking motion that plants the car on the ground while it's moving. It came exclusively in exotic red with gold wheels and trim. And oddly enough, for a Dodge Shelby, it did not feature a racing stripe.
There's actually one for sale. It might not be for sale anymore, but there was in Santa Monica a while ago.
Oh, that'd be sweet. And so ended the 80s, and with it, Shelby's Dodge collaborations. actually kind of strange how neatly Shelby's life divides into these decades. And you have to wonder if that reflected some conscious decision on his part. In the 40s, Shelby flew planes. In the 50s, he raced cars. In the 60s, he built his Ford Shelby empire before walking away in the 70s to make chili and wander around Africa. And then the 80s were Dodge. Should we take a break to read the chat?
Let's do it.
Let's do some. Do some chat reading. Feed me, Nolan. Feed me, Nolan.
Okay, I'll feed you.
Feed me some of them sweet, sweet questions and comments.
Someone said Nolan is pregnant with James. So great.
Okay, that's interesting.
Someone paid $75 to tell me that.
Someone is asking when this is going to start. So that's not a good sign.
I want to give a shout to Dead Duck. He says, Nolan and James inspired me, and I just want to tell them that they inspired me to get into cars. And did I mention that I'm 10 years old?
Ah, tight.
That's what we're here for.
Let's see.
The Ute. Dead Duck.
Is there a car that actually has a V4? I'm not sure to that question. I don't think they make like V4s. I think are only in motorcycles. I just think it's better to have an inline 4 engine.
I think there definitely have been V4
totally
cars.
Wrong though. There's probably some obscure French car that has one.
Yeah, I'm sure like in the 1930s there was a ton of them.
Ooh, here's a good question from Chef Vince Visor. Great job, guys. What should I buy as my first track in the U.S.? A Nissan Z or a Corvette C4 for the LS base? Which is a better track car to buy? A Nissan Z or a C4 Corvette?
1000% the Z.
I'm going to have to back that up. Yeah. I'd
zero, like more parts availability. It's a way newer chassis. Yeah, Z 1000%.
I'm going to say the Corvette.
Joe.
I'll do what I want.
You have a Z.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I love a Z and a Corvette.
You have a Z. You have the Z that looks like the Corvette.
Yeah, that's true.
David Castillo asks, what happened to the 350Zs, aka high and low?
They are in the Peterson Automotive Museum currently on display. We built 2 cars that are in a freaking museum. I'm so proud of it. It's so insane. I think low car.
Amazing.
I have to double check. I have to fact check on this, but I do believe that low car could potentially be the first plasti dipped car in a museum.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Making history, making waves. This is why we're here.
Next question.
I want to give a shout out to Dylan and Declan and Stephanie, who showed me how to do this awesome tie-dye. They're Bridget's friends, and she sent a picture because they tie-dyed Boost Creeps shirt, and I thought it looked so cool. I had to do it.
Griffin McPherson asks, hi, what's up? What would be the best high school car on a tiny budget?
Volkswagen Golf. Any year.
Anyway, James, didn't we did a D list on best first cars, right?
Yes, we did.
Was the Golf on your list at that time?
Of course. Of course.
What was number one?
What was number one? You'll have to watch the episode to find out. The 90s would be a very different kind of decade for old Carroll Shelby, one in which he would have to face the limits of his own mortality. By 1990, Shelby was experiencing some pretty serious health problems. He was 67 years old, and doctors said that in his current condition, he would be dead within a month. In the 30 years prior, he had an incredible 30 surgeries, including 12 heart bypasses.
Damn.
As often happens, life imitated art, or at least life imitated car design, and Shelby's life was saved by the ultimate engine swap. When a 34-year-old African-American man died of a brain hemorrhage while sitting at a craps table in Vegas, talk about a bad roll of the dice. His heart was transported by corporate jet to Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. There, the heart was transplanted into Carroll Shelby's body. When he woke up, he thought the doctor was there to give him his last rites, but the surgery was successful and gave Shelby his life back. According to Motor Trend, apparently upon learning the donor was black, Shelby equipped... Jesus. I hope you gave me his dork, too.
Oh, God.
I got his dingling. Come on, man. That's like such an old man joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
Very old man joke.
Yeah. His heart transplant literally gave Shelby a new lease on life, and it inspired him to extend the generosity he had experienced to those in need. In In 1991, he founded the Carroll Shelby Heart Fund, later renamed the Shelby Children's Foundation, dedicated to funding organ transplants for children. The foundation would raise millions of dollars, with Shelby auctioning off many cars from his massive collection and donating the proceeds. He also wasn't above a practical joke. Less than a year after his transplant, Shelby was at the Indy 500 and took a car journalist out for a few laps in a Dodge Viper. In the journalist's words, blasting down the straightaway between turns 2 and 3, Carroll legged out the car in 5th gear. I couldn't see the speedometer, but it felt like 120, 125. Suddenly, he grabs his chest and stumps over in his seat. Oh my God, Carroll Shelby's had a heart attack, I thought. After the 3 seconds it took to have my life flash before me and to grab the steering wheel, Shelby sat up, roaring with laughter.
That's a mean joke.
Yeah, man. The 90s also saw Shelby cementing his legacy. In 1992, he was inducted into the Automotive Hall of Fame. He also created what was essentially his fantasy car, the Shelby Series 1. This would be the first and only car that Carroll Shelby would ever design and build from the ground up instead of modifying an existing model. The Series 1 was a rear-wheel drive roadster featuring an Oldsmobile 4-liter Aurora V8 based off the North Star with 320 horsepower. It was capable of 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds and a quarter mile of 12.8. There's also a supercharged version that could do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds with 600 horsepower and 530 pound-feet of tricks.
That thing is so cool looking. I'm
It's
very
really
surprised
cool.
that like it's an Aurora V8. I don't know. That's like a weird choice for me, but if it works, it works.
Like it's because he got a deal.
For sure.
They probably had they gave him the best deal.
Yeah.
And he was like,
no
"Yeah."
one wants automobiles.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can work with that. The price tag of the Series 1 was equally surprising. Although the initial plan was to sell the cars at a price of $100,000, due to the high costs required to pass federal safety standards, initially only 249 Series 1s could be built. And when they were finally sold a year later than anticipated, the car was listed for an insane $225,000.
Ooh.
To be fair, power windows, AC, and a CD player were all generously included in the base price. Despite the insane costs, orders were strong, but even for $225,000, the car was not very profitable.
Why not?
And it bankrupted Shelby's investors.
Wow. I mean, that's in 92 money for $225K. That's a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
at least
lot.
$230,000 nowadays.
Yeah, at least. I'll guess 90s money. I'm going to say at least 300K. I'll say 310.
Okay, Joe, what'd you say?
305,000.
Okay, you just prices righted Joe, Nolan. I'm gonna say, I don't know, something like 386,233. Let me
It's
check.
very
Wait,
specific.
let me check.
386?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. That's
And you're right. I did prices right, Joe. I learned from the best.
Oh, you won. Who's the best, Drew Carey or Bob Barker?
They're both great.
I used to
Drew
tour
Carey was the best host of Who's Line.
Mm-hmm. I toured with Drew Carey one summer, opened for him, and he bought me and all my friends iPads.
Oh, cool.
And 6 months later, I was broke, and I sold my iPad. And when the guy came to pick it up, I was like, Drew Carey got that for me, and he was like, he literally said, he was like, I don't care.
That's
I was like, oh, okay.
That's stone cold, dude. This is literally a transaction for me.
Yeah.
You are not a person. You are in the way of me and my iPad.
Here's a
God.
Live podcast thing. My dog is trying to get on my lap right now and open the door himself. So
Let's see that dog, dude. There he is.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there's a good boy. That's a sweet boy. My dog is sleeping under my desk. I'm very surprised that she's behaving.
She knows it's live, man.
She
What
knows
can you
it's
say?
live. She's a pro, man. Say what you want about her. She's pro.
I do not have any pets. I'm alone.
You should get an iguana or something.
Yeah. I actually wanted a chameleon when I was younger, but they take a lot of work.
Do they?
Oh, yeah. You got to constantly be monitoring their humidity and all that kind of stuff.
and they're heat
What?
rock.
Yeah.
Plus, they're hard to find because they
Yeah.
camouflage themselves.
It's crazy when they like nuzzle up against like the glass of the terrarium, they just turn clear.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I used to live in a house with a bunch of dudes, and one of them had a tarantula. And he told us after he'd found it, he was like, my tarantula's been missing in the house for the past 3 weeks. I just found it. We were like, oh, God.
It was probably like eating mice and all that. Like
Yeah.
it was probably doing its work. You know, it was paying its due.
Yeah,
It was paying its share.
He found it behind the toilet.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
God. Oh, that's my nightmare.
Yeah. Your dog loves past gas, Michael?
Mike Cianci.
In 2004, things finally came full circle for Carroll Shelby. The Ford Motor Company hadn't worked with Shelby in over 30 years, and in fact, the relationship had soured at times, with Shelby at one point suing Ford for allegedly using Cobra branding without his permission. They probably did. Multiple factors probably played into Shelby's return to Ford, but one has to imagine that for Shelby, now 81, his legacy was at the top of his mind. The first new collaboration was another roadster, the Ford Shelby Cobra concept. This one inspired by the original AC Cobra that was the first joint effort of Shelby and Ford, all the way back in 1961. It won Best in Show at the 2004 Detroit Auto Show, and by 2005, Ford and Shelby introduced a production car, the Shelby CS6/8, based on the existing B6 Mustang.
If you guys have seen XXX State of the Union with Ice Cube,
Of course they've seen of Nolan.
Yeah.
Of course
Then
they've
you've
seen
seen-
XXX State of the Union with Ice Cube.
Then you've
The Venn
seen
diagram
the Ford
on our
Shelby
channel.
Cobra for sure.
It's probably most popular movie for donut fans, Nolan. The Venn diagram is just a circle. 100%.
It's the Venn diagram.
The
Vin
Venn
Diesel.
diagram. Nice! 2007 saw the release of the Ford Shelby GT as well as the Shelby Terlingua, which shared the name of the ghost town near Shelby's ranch and was presumably modified to run on chili.
Nice.
He probably named it that so he could bump up the property value. Too.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Tacoma, Washington is pretty popular these days. Collaborations continued until Shelby finally passed away at the age of 89 in 2012. His lives had finally run out, but Ford, with the permission of the Shelby estate, continued production of Shelby branded vehicles. Even after his death, Shelby has found a way to live on.
And live on in our hearts he has. What a great story.
I love Carroll Shelby.
Yeah, Carroll Shelby's the man, dude. I really love his cars. And just everything
his
he did.
story. Just like a ass kicking
Yeah.
Texan.
You don't really get guys like this very often. Like he's just like such a character, such a brand. You can't like nail him down in one market. Like he's kind of just
Am I over here?
ubiquitous.
Whoop, tricked you. I'm over here. Huh.
Try to nail him down.
I'm back
I
here.
got 220,000 acres.
Oh,
So,
tap, 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 tap. Oh, nope. I tapped your opposite shoulder. I'm over here.
if
He
you'd like to
invented that.
hear-
He invented the tapping someone on the one shoulder, but then you're really on the other side of them.
He tried to market it, but it didn't really go over very
Ha
well.
ha, you look like an idiot. You was looking over there. Turns out I'm over here. I went like this.
Let's go to the chat. Shelby 420 will be the best comeback. It should come out in 2069.
Huh, nice.
Will there be a third season of High Low?
Yes.
Thoughts on the new M3?
I like it. I think it looks really cool and aggressive. I know people are hating on the big kidneys, but I think I can't wait to see these things modified. I think they look super mean and super cool.
I am looking forward to the modded versions of them. I want to see what like Keisel can do to it. I will say though, a lot of these cars coming out now, they're so aggressive and weird looking in pictures that when you see them in person, then you understand them. Like, just remember how strange the Supra looked. Even like the new Mustang, when that was refreshed in like 2017 or 18, like that looked kind of weird. But then you saw it in your person, you're like, oh, these guys know what they're doing.
Right. They literally set trends.
Yeah, so I'm willing to reserve my judgment until I see one in person. But
I
the
think
pictures do look
I
weird.
think they toned it down from like that M4 picture that leaked a while back of the gray one. The intake looks, or the grill looks like a little bit smaller and more like refined than the prototype, which makes sense.
Yeah, I want to see like the touring car version of it.
Yeah.
Can you guys do some content on women in the auto industry? We just released a podcast on Michelle Mouton.
Great episode.
Great
Loved it.
episode. Super good
fun.
story. And
There's more in the pipeline, though.
Yeah, we're always trying to represent more people in the auto industry. So if you have any ideas, let us know in the comments.
Nolan, you say you don't have pets, but why do you have a pet cage behind you? Good question. That is that's a antique kind of like shop cart that I put my tiny TV
animals
on.
in. You put your animals in there.
I put my yeah. Anyway, when are you guys gonna do an episode on the Plymouth Roadrunner? Maybe we can cover that when Up to Speed comes back. James
We've done an
and
episode
the
of Up to Speed on it,
on the Roadrunner,
haven't we?
No.
Superbird.
I think it gets
Superbird.
mentioned in the Superbird episode.
Yeah, but it's its own model. We're working hard on the new incarnation of Up to Speed. James,
Big tings coming, bruv. Big tings.
can you do a wheelhouse on why American taillights are so boring and why there aren't 6-door cars?
Why aren't there 6-door cars?
I don't know.
Too many doors. It's a short video. Too many doors.
Also,
the hood
do
is like a 6th door.
Yeah.
For the engine, when at night when like the engine like wants to like chill out and like
Get out and go to bed.
get out and just stretch its legs. It like
Look,
opens
I
the
have
hood.
6 friends, and they're very impatient. They want to all get in the car at the same time.
They're very competitive.
We didn't mention. There's a comment about not mentioning the Shelby Viper. I guess it slipped past us, but that is one of the cooler Vipers out there. Pretty sick.
When is the Colin McRae up to speed? I think his story would be better suited for a past guest. We're definitely gonna have to cover Colin McRae.
For sure.
Yeah, especially since we're gonna be in dirt coming out here in a few weeks.
Yeah, Nolan and I are the narrators of the new game from Codemasters, Dirt 5. It's coming out in a few weeks. It'll be on all the new platforms, like all the new PS5 and the new Xbox, whatever that one's called, S.
Xbox One X or I honestly don't even know. I'm not even like trying to do a bid or anything. I don't even.
X edition. Oh, are you guys doing anything special for Halloween?
I actually
yes.
just ordered. I'm gonna do a D list on spooky car stories, and I just ordered a costume that I'm gonna wear.
Ooh, we got a wheelhouse coming out on hearses. If you like cars made specifically for dead people, you should check that out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm still debating whether or not to wear corpse paint or not.
I think you should.
I'm in a black metal band. I need someone to do it for me though. I'm really not good at it.
Yeah,
I think it looks better when it's not great though.
I love that you're not good at doing corpse paint.
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Thoughts on lowered trucks? I love lowered trucks.
Me too.
I think it's great.
I think you should lower everything.
I like when people get mad about them. Dude, I would love like a lowered Suburban.
Oh yeah, that's hard.
That'd be
With
fun.
like some 13s.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get big old blades. Look like
No,
a
I'd still get
freaking
some big
drug
wheels on
dealer.
there, but like you
Some,
know
like,
what would be cool is like kind of like slammed, but then use like a off-road wheel and like an off-road profile tire. So it's almost like an urban pre-runner or something like that, you know?
I'd do big old like Spreewells spinners.
Oh hell yeah.
I'd do reverse spree wells, the wheels that stay in one spot when you drive.
This dude's dog is gonna be me for Halloween. That's awesome. Make sure you send pic. Make sure you post pics on Instagram
Yeah.
and
please.
tag us. If anyone dresses up like any of us for Halloween this year, make sure you post pictures and tag us, and we'll definitely share it. We are
All right.
obsessed with ourselves.
Twinkle Toes NZ sent us $5 New Zealand for me to say fired up and Mo Power baby like Joe and James say it. So here it goes, okay? Fired up. Mo Power baby.
Perfect. That was like,
Yeah, there you go.
That was totally worth 5 New Zealand bucks.
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching our stream. This is the first time we did it. We'll probably do this in the future sometime. Make sure you check out Past Gas on our Donut Podcast channel. James and I have some very cool ideas for future podcasts that we're going to hopefully start rolling out here soon. So we got to fill out that podcast lineup. You don't want to miss that. And please check out Past Gas on the podcast platform of your choice. You can listen to us in your car. Listen to us while you work if your boss is cool with that. That's Past Gas on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And I just want to thank you again for spending your afternoon with us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Follow Nolan on all social media at Nolan J. Sykes. Follow Joe at Joe G. Weber. Follow me at James Pumphrey. And follow Donut at Donut Media. And again, if you liked this, head on over to our podcast only channel, Donut Podcast. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything. We do this every week. Thanks again for watching. I love you.
Yeah, be kind.
Keep it juiced.
See you next time.